Hey, it's Chimon here, and we're talking about the internal narrative today. What's the internal narrative? How do you change it? What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how it influences you. So there's a few steps to this. Well, we're going to start with what is the internal narrative? The internal narrative is exactly how it sounds. It's the story that we all have inside of our brains, inside of our minds, that's telling us who we are, what we're here to do, what's happening in this world, what are our limitations, and it's narrating our life. And so, a lot of times, these narratives that we write about ourselves, they're not true. But the more and more we write them, the more and more we believe them, the stronger the narrative is built and the more powerful it becomes. Meanwhile, these narratives aren't true. Many of them are not true. And so, some of us, let's say I'm a shy person and I'm quiet and I'm timid. And I've thought I was this way ever since I was young. And every time I approach a situation, I approach it filtering it through the narrative of who I am, who I think I am. So I approach it in this narrative. Let's say I'm going to the bar. I walk into the bar and immediately I'm filtering the situation through the narrative that I've written in my head about who I am. How other people see me. And so I'm shy, I'm timid in that environment. And every time I enter an environment and I filter the experience through my narrative that I've constructed in my brain, in my mind, in my psyche about who I am, I'm only reinforcing that. So maybe it was just one time, two times when I was younger, I kind of felt timid and shy. But then the next time, I'm going to revert to the timid and shy. And then the next time, it's all I know, I'm timid and shy, and it keeps coming. And those neural pathways have been created in your mind, and they only get stronger. The narrative only gets stronger. Same with so many things. You could say the timid and shy, you could say a lot of times these are negative narratives that we carry. Oh, I'm not smart, I'm not smart, I'm not smart, I'm not smart. The more and more you say that, I'm not pretty, I'm not pretty, I'm not pretty, I'm not pretty. The more and more you say that, the more you think it's true. And the more powerful that neural pathway is going to be connected in your brain. Me, not pretty, me, not pretty. It's going to keep going and it's going to become more powerful. Meanwhile, a lot of those narratives aren't true. And a lot of the narratives are no longer serving you. A lot of those narratives aren't true, and a lot of those narratives aren't serving you. So there's different ways to change the narrative. I can see two main ways we can change the narrative. One main way we change the narrative, boom, completely explode it, change it, rewire it in one setting, boom. That's powerful. It's powerful and it's possible. And the other way, little by little, each day, little by little, we're changing it. How does that happen? Well, yeah, let's start with the second one. Little by little, each day, we're changing the narrative. How does that happen? First of all, The first thing we need to do is we need to acknowledge the fact that we do have a narrative about ourselves, about who we are. Just acknowledge it. Oh, wait a minute. Do I have a narrative? Yes, of course I have a narrative. What does my narrative tell me about myself, about who I am, about what I'm here to do? Acknowledge it. No judgment. What's my narrative? What's it telling me? What's been this unconscious narrative that I've created in my mind about who I am? So the first step is just to acknowledge that narrative. Okay, I have a narrative. Maybe it's not serving me. Second part, to become aware of the narrative in your everyday life. I'm walking into the library and I'm carrying my narrative. Oh, I'm not a good reader. I don't have time to read books. I'm not going to be able to understand it. And if I'm carrying that narrative with me, it's going to drastically influence my time in the library, let's say. So the second part after the the acknowledgement of the narrative itself is the awareness. So I walk in the library and I start going with the narrative. I'm not smart. I can't read books. I'm not that Woo. I'm just going to become aware of it. Okay. I'm aware of that powerful narrative that just hit me in that moment. All right. And then what happens after we acknowledge we have the narrative and then we're aware of it in everyday thought? Then what we do, we start to rewire, to rewrite the narrative. First, we got to deconstruct the old narrative before we rewrite it, before we wire it. So we deconstruct it. And you deconstruct it while you rewrite it. First you deconstruct, then you rewrite. So acknowledge that I have a narrative. Become aware of it in my everyday life. Oh, the narrative's hit. And then deconstruct it. Throw that old narrative away. I don't need that old narrative that's telling me that I'm dumb and I can't read books and that I don't have time to read and that I'm not going to understand it. Take that narrative, throw it away, and then rewire it. Hey, I'm smart. I can read. And if I find something that I'm passionate about, that I really want to read, I'm going to find the time to read it. And I'm going to understand it. I'm powerful. I'm strong. I'm happy. I'm healthy. Right? So you start to change that narrative. You know, it doesn't have to be smart books, whatever it is. It could be, oh, I'm sick. I'm always getting sick. I'm always getting sick. Well, if you're saying you're always going to get sick, that's the narrative that you have in your mind. Right? If you say, I'm always sad, oh, I'm sad, I'm sad, oh, I'm sad, you're always going to be sad. But it's the narrative that changes. You acknowledge, oh, okay, I have this narrative that I feel like I'm always sad in these situations. Right? Acknowledge it. Become aware of it. I'm in this situation. Oh, I should feel sad because that's my narrative. I should just feel that way. I don't know why, but I feel... Awareness. Deconstruct it. I don't need to feel sad right now. There's no reason. I don't need to filter this new experience through those old narratives and to rewrite it. No. I'm happy. I'm healthy. I'm strong. I'm the master of my kingdom. That's a powerful one I like to use to rewrite my narrative. I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm strong, I'm the master of my kingdom. That's one of my favorite ones that I've used to rewrite my narrative. But it could be anything. Really could be anything that calls to you that's self-affirming, that's self-powerful. That's the positive narrative that we want going on in the mind. Because we don't want to focus on those negative narratives of ourselves and who we are that are bringing us down. We want to focus on the positive, uplifting, self-affirming narratives that we have in here. Sometimes you got to listen to the heart to give your mind the narrative. Right here is telling you what your new narrative is, and it's time to put it right here. So that's one way. We kind of take this slow approach, and each and every day we get better and better, and we're changing our narratives because we're becoming more aware of it, and then we're starting to deconstruct and rewrite new narratives. You know, that's kind of the slow and steady approach. And we could use meditation, we could use exercise, we could use intense studying, we could use discipline to achieve that. Now, what's the other way? The other way is one fell swoop, completely change the narrative, one moment, completely rewrite it, boom. And there's many ways to do that. Ancient ceremonies can be really powerful. Inipi sweat lodges, Temescal sweat lodges, where you're just sitting in the womb of the Mother Earth in a traditional ceremony with song, with movement, with power, with sweating, with sound. That's a way that you can change your narrative, boom, right away. You take a powerful dose of entheogens, of plants or mushrooms, in a sacred ancient way. That's a way to rewrite the narrative. You go outside your comfort zone completely. You do something you would never do. I'm scared of heights. 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 Maybe that's your narrative that you've had for 20 years, for 30 years, 40 years. Who knows how long you've had it? But every time you think about it, you're reinforcing it. So one fell swoop, boom! You jump out of an airplane on the back, and some dude on your back's got a parachute. Boom! You're completely changing your narrative right there. You're in the airplane. Then you jump. Woo! And in a matter of moments, complete rewiring of your narrative like that, right? Get outside your comfort zone. You're shy talking to people. Go to a public setting. Go to a bar. Go to wherever you want to go. And just go. Introduce yourself. Boom, 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 boom. Introduce yourself to everyone in the room. Complete rewiring. And so there's many ways that we could just change the narrative. Boom, like that. And we want to make sure that we have a new narrative to rewrite. And that it's positive, self-affirming, self-actualizing, uplifting. So those are the two, let's hold on a second and just breathe. So, there we have it. We've got the narrative, the internal narrative, what it is, why we may have it, and understanding the fact that it may no longer be serving us. And then we have two different methods at rewiring and deconstructing those narratives and building up new ones, creating new ones. Because the mind is so powerful. And the narrative that we have in the mind is so powerful. And it has reverberations throughout our lives, throughout the lives of the people around us. And if we can cultivate a little bit of awareness, and we could acknowledge, and we could become aware, and we could start to rewrite those narratives, our world's going to change. And it's going to change for the better. So work on those uplifting, self-affirming narratives little by little, or in one fell swoop. That's what I'm talking about today. Peace and love. Thank you. I appreciate you. Love you. Share your thoughts and insights in the comments below. If you've had experience changing your own narrative, inspire the people around you to do the same. Peace and love.